Hello and welcome back to Let's Talk with Parul. We're back with a power-packed panel of guests and of course another conversation that really needs to happen. This one's on domestic violence या घरेलू हिंसा. इस घरेलू शब्द की वजह से ये ऐसी हिंसा है जो हमेशा बंद दरवाज़ों में ही रह जाती है क्योंकि हमें बोला जाता है कि ये पति पत्नी के आपस का मामला है, घरेलू मामला है, इसमें दखल नहीं देना चाहिए. लेकिन इसी की वजह से इतनी पीड़ा होती है विक्टिम्स को, उसी बारे में आज हम बात करेंगे और वी विल ट्राई एंड वर्क आउट हाउ वी एज अ सोसाइटी कैन डू समथिंग टू एलिविएट दैट. So let me get down to introducing my guests also today. आज के मेरे दोनों मेहमानों के लिए घरेलू हिंसा एक पर्सनल स्टोरी है लेकिन बहुत ही अलग अलग पर्सपेक्टिव से और उसके बारे में तो बात करेंगे ही. पहले मिल लेते हैं मेघना भट्टाचार्य and Sonakshi Chaudhary. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks.
And let me give a little bit of further introduction. Meghna is an MC, singer, lyricist, actor, writer, creative director in a leading marketing solutions company. She speaks 8 languages. She's worked with the ranks of A.R. Rahman, Shankar Mahadevan, K.K. Shah, Amitabh Bachchan, to name just a few. She's also the proud mom of a lovely little girl. And she's an active participant on our Facebook group, and we've already had lots of discussions with Meghna on the subject of domestic violence and various other subjects. And it's great. I'm so happy to be able to have you put a face to the name. And Sonakshi is an accomplished writer. She co-authored her first book at the age of 19. And she's a counselor. She works actively with women and child victims of domestic violence, along with her mother, Rashmi Anand, at their foundation, the Women of the Elements Trust. She's also worked extensively with the Ministry of Women and Child Development and the Observer Research Foundation on issues of gender and violence. Thank you so much, Sonakshi. We have been talking about the reasons why people don't leave, a place of a marriage of conflict. And we know that the reasons are many, the layers are many. I think one of the best ways to understand some of that is to talk about personal stories. And both of you, I'm really, really grateful that you've come out to share your personal stories with us. So perhaps we'll start with you, Meghna.
It's funny when everyone talks about how, बहुत easy है बोलना कि घर की बात घर में रहने रखो. It's a mindset कि हमें सिखाया जाता है कि 4 दीवार के अंदर रखो, बात बाहर मत निकालो. And it's so easy because especially हमारे यहाँ पे in Southeast Asia, what has happened is कि हम लोगों का एक mindset ऐसा बन गया है जहाँ पे ये बताया जाता है कि जो लड़की होती है वो घर संजोती है, उसको घर को बना के रखना है, उसको घर की बातें संजो के रखनी है, बंद मुट्ठी, this, that and the other. Now what happens is, no matter how educated you are, and you might come from the most educated family, both my parents are very well educated, everything was great. I personally did my MBA. I have lived in more countries than one. I have lived in 18 states across India. So it's not a matter of exposure, but the thing is, it's so easy to slip into it that you don't even realize. आपने कभी बचपन में आपने एक level देखा है जो शायद physical तक नहीं गया, but कहीं ना कहीं आपने उसको absorb कर लिया है.
Intimidation हो सकता है,
intimidation हो सकता है, एक sense of fear के most घरों में ये होता है, and this is not necessarily for the father or the mother, but one of the parents, mostly the father, कि माँ पहले से बोल देती है, ओ father आने वाले हैं, सब सफाई कर लो, सब ये कर लो, सब वो कर लो. The most prime example of this was, if you remember, दिलवाले दुल्हनिया ले जाएंगे.
Correct. Okay.
So it's something as something as silly as that, but you kind of imbibe it. It becomes a part of your fabric. So when it actually starts happening, you don't realize कि वो कब छोटी सी बात वो गाली गलौज से वो धक्का हो गया, धक्का से वो मार पिटाई हो गई, मार पिटाई से वो कहीं और चली गई बात, यहाँ तक कि बात लिटरली आपकी जान पे उतर आई है. मतलब you don't realize कि कब उसका extent इतना बढ़ गया. You don't know, and then there are certain things that you are taught to not talk about. हमारे country में, especially when there's marital rape or there's marital sexual abuse or there's marital force, you don't want to talk about it.
And it's not even recognized. आप बात किससे करोगे?
Under the law, it's not.
आप अपने parents से भी बात करने में झिझकते हो because you don't know how they are going to be open to it or not open to it. In my case, I was very young. I was barely 23.
Yes.
So when that happens, you're still kind of, those are your formative years. You're still trying to find your place in the world. You've kind of lived, so I had lived in London and come back. But then you're still kind of figuring your place in the whole system of things, you know, in the scheme of things. And, you know, at some point, जो बच्चा होता है, जो बेटी होती है, वो कहीं ना कहीं अपने घर की guardian हो जाती है. So I became like a protector for my mother and for my younger brother. So it was more like, oh, मैं उनको कैसे बता सकती हूँ, उनको क्या लगेगा, उनको क्या फील होगा,
वो कैसे कोप करेंगे
कैसे
जब
cope
मैं
करेंगे?
सारा कुछ कर रही हूँ उनके लिए.
And then उनको कितना बुरा लगेगा, फिर वो क्या करेंगे, you know, that's kind of a, so it starts from there.
Right.
And then it just grows and it becomes this big, you know, big bubble, and then you can't do much about it at that point. बहुत time लगा मुझे, it took me 3 years, and it took me nearly coming face to face with death to get out, to finally make that step and take that step and say that this is not worth it.
But tell me something, in those 3 years, Meghna, I mean, like you're saying, surely there were visible traces
Yes.
of violence?
And then you figure it
So-
out, you cover it up. Like there was
You
this
cover
one
it
time,
up.
so he drove a car over my foot because he was angry. He just drove a car over my foot. And what do you do about that? There are people, you will see pictures if I show you from my birthday where my arms are bruised. And there are people in the
Seeing
house
it.
watching my arms bruised, but they, you know, so you make up stories. बाथरूम में फिसल गए, वहाँ पे चोट लग गई, ओ अच्छा आज मैं सीढ़ियों से नीचे गिर गई, अरे यार आज मुझे चक्कर आ गया.
तो ये स्टोरीज आप भी बना रही हैं और आपके आसपास जो आपके फैमिली मेंबर्स हैं वो भी बना रहे हैं, लेकिन
It kind of
कहीं भी कोई भी नहीं है जो कह
Domino
सकता है
effect.
कि कुछ गलत हो रहा है.
नहीं, क्योंकि सब देखना नहीं चाहते. See the thing is, कोई, हमारी सोसाइटी ऐसी है कि कोई बुरा देखना नहीं चाहता है. सबको अच्छा लगता है सब कुछ अच्छा हो. Everyone wants to see something nice and pretty. आप खुद सोचो, like, you know, if you see wilted flowers and if you see a rose blooming, what will you choose? It's as simple as that. सब लोग बोलते हैं, oh, be positive, look happy, and everything's going to be fine. No, it's not going to be fine. Till the time you look at yourself in the mirror and you look at yourself and say that this is not okay.
What was that point for you?
So it happened on a very cold December night, and it got to a point where everything inside me was broken, literally.
Physically and mentally?
Physically, mentally, sexually. I was
Sexually.
just broken. And it's taken me a lot of time
Of course.
to be okay with it,
Sure.
and to say that it doesn't define me. But fact of the matter is, Parul, it does to a huge extent, you know, because it teaches you lessons that you try not to take forward, but you cannot part with. There are trust issues, there are self-image issues, there's, you know, you have a loss of sense of self. And वो आप जब खुद को पहचानना बंद कर दो, that is hard, because nobody wants to believe it, you know. It's very easy to tell people कि ओहो नहीं सब ठीक हो जाएगा, भगवान पे भरोसा रख. Like I still remember when my daughter was being born, I had banned my mother from coming into the delivery room because, you know, my mother walked in and the first thing she said, pain हो रहा है कोई बात नहीं भगवान ठीक करेगा. I'm like भगवान कैसे ठीक करेगा यार? Like
Delivery pain, labor pains.
but the thing is कि that's what happens, right? Everybody wants to see something happy and
Right.
nice and positive. They don't want to see it, and so they're in denial.
So, जो कॉन्फ्लिक्ट है वो हम खुद ही अपनी आंखें बंद कर लेते हैं. मतलब
And-
दूसरों का क्या बात करनी
आप
किसी और
खुद
की.
सोचो, कई बार ऐसा होता है कि your colleague walks in and she's not looking so great, and you know, instead of asking her, dude, can we talk? Do you
Is
want to talk
everything
about? Is
okay?
everything okay? Your instinctive reaction is, think about it, okay? Your instinctive, चल कुछ अच्छा करते हैं, you'll feel better.
Right.
You
Let me
don't
cheer
ask.
you up. You're trying to fix the problem
Without
from a very
really-
outward
from
sense.
yeah. So now what
Correct.
happens is you're looking at it very superficially. कि अभी के लिए तो, but find the crux of the problem. What is the problem? Maybe she just needs to talk. Maybe he just needs to talk.
Correct. Yeah.
So, you know.
So Meghna's troubles didn't really end there.
Yeah, it didn't. So
It goes on.
see, what happens was when you have gotten out of there,
You managed to get out of that marriage.
I did. I did get out of that marriage, and I got married a second time. And this time I got married because I believed, or I wanted to believe, that he loved me.
Yeah.
It took me a good 5 years to get to that point, but I wanted to believe it.
Yeah.
And everybody, honestly speaking, every single person I knew told me, don't do it. Do not get married. It's the wrong person.
So it's the wrong person. So
It's the wrong
not
person.
the concept of marriage.
No, it's the person.
हाँ, उस person से कुछ था
But
problem.
what happens is you get so used to it कि you think, अच्छा उतना बुरा तो नहीं है.
हाँ. I've
तो
seen worse.
I've seen worse. तो ये तो उससे डिग्री में better है ना.
हाँ.
That's what you're thinking. And this is in spite of the fact that this person cheated on me before
अच्छा.
the marriage. I knew about it. I let it go. I was pregnant when the same thing happened, and in fact, I was pregnant, and you know, it was the most miserable. I would not wish it on my worst enemy, because while I was pregnant, I was running around doing all these things, and it was just so there was emotion from proper physical abuse. We'd gone to emotional and mental and verbal abuse.
And this is very early into the marriage. I
Yeah,
mean,
this is just like a year into the marriage, right? And I always knew that this person could abuse. I did not realize that it would turn around and come to me. And what happened was that because you keep giving concessions,
right.
it just keeps getting worse, you know. And at that point in time, it got to a point where I did not look at myself in the mirror for 2 years. I did not want to look at myself in the mirror because I honestly felt that I was not good looking. I did not have a sense of dressing up. I did not know how to present myself in the society. And this is someone who's been outside, who speaks more languages than anybody I know.
Right.
But it doesn't matter. It really does not matter.
Because something very deep inside you has been hit.
And you know what's happening is, and across that time, by the way, I have been writing, okay? So I wrote all of these songs for all these big organizations. I'm associating with all these amazing artists. All of that is happening.
Acha.
So outwardly, there's this very confident person who's walking around doing all this stuff. And inside is another person who is so underconfident that I'm having trouble just crossing the road. I'm having trouble figuring out what to wear. From someone who's always picking up what is on the top of the pile, I had become someone who would pull out 20 dresses to figure out, I have to be just right, I have to be just, and that's not who you are. So you kind of lose who you are. Your individuality is just gone. Right. And then I became, and you know, what happens is when you're giving birth, there's also this whole postpartum depression kind of a thing that happens.
It's not one thing. Huh?
Because you're taking care of the child, you're doing all this, there's no time for yourself, and then you're also listening to all of this, and everything's kind of,
it's too much.
It's too much. It's gotten to a point where all you want to do is just scream, and no one's listening. Like, my breaking point, I think, came, so Alia was, my daughter was about 15 months old,
right.
And I was diagnosed with a serious health issue.
That was the second time around.
The third time around.
So this was as serious as cancer.
Yeah. And they put me on a first line. And it wasn't so bad as the first 2 times. And it was tuberculosis turning into cancer. It was kind of there. And I asked him to come with me for the sessions, and he refused. And that night we got into this fight, and he hit me. And before that, he'd broken my phone. He'd hit me once in terms of pushing me, and I'd fallen, and my stitch had broken. This just after I'd given birth to Alia. And all of that had happened, but I didn't think he would hit me.
Yeah.
And he did, and just before that, I was taking care of his mom. All of that is happening. So I was holding Alia when he hit me. And that was my breaking point, because when you do it,
baby in your hand.
if you do it once, when the physical abuse actually starts, and once it starts, there is no stopping it.
But you knew that because you had already been through
I'd
that trauma.
gone through that whole, oh, it's going to change tomorrow. No, but tomorrow morning he's so good. But
और
he
आपको
is
पता है
like
कि
always
कुछ
telling me.
उस तरह से तो बदलता नहीं है अगर एक बार कुछ शुरू हो जाए.
It doesn't change. And not only that, Parul, I gave it a good year after that. In spite of living separately, I kept contact.
Okay.
Not just that, I tried really hard to get him. He did not even meet his daughter for the first year. I had to beg him to come and meet his daughter. I started him meeting his daughter, and when he came home, he started poisoning my daughter's mind. All of that happened, and then when I tried to address it, he tried to hit me in my own house, and that, for me, that's when
break point.
It was, you know what? Get
Right.
out of my
Not
house and get out of my life, and not my child's life. You're not coming anywhere close.
Good for you.
So, yeah. So eventually, it was the mom in me kind of took over. I think that's what happened, and I think Alia is a major reason because I've seen a lot of mothers, including mine, okay, who would end up saying, "Oh, but I stayed because of the kids."
We'll come to that. That's a huge part of our discussion today because, yeah, we will come to that. Sonakshi's story will give us a little more insight into that.
So my mother walked out of a violent marriage when I was 9 years old. I understand completely where you're coming from because my mother wore Chinese collars for a large part of her life. She wore full sleeves.
Camouflage, cover, hide.
So I was born 2 months premature because my father kicked my mother down the stairs. And it is a part of who you are. There's no escaping that. It's who you are, it's what you're going to be. But I think the bit that she's always emphasized for my brother and I has been that it is more than who we are going to be.
Sure.
So I think for her, the linchpin was the fact that my brother didn't speak for the first 4 years of his life. Not one word. And for me, it was slightly different. So my personal experience was that I used to read a lot. And that kind of kept me away from everything.
She mentioned that you had kind of blocked out that
Large
part
parts
of,
of
the
it.
life. Yeah.
Large parts of it were just blanks to me. My brother wasn't so lucky.
Right.
And immediately after, he was put into the learning center, so he was in the special needs department. They thought that there was some sort of learning disability. Turns out it wasn't that, it was actually just the violence.
Right.
And on the most positive note on this, he is now getting his master's in gender studies. Yeah, and he went to the interview and they asked him, well, not a lot of boys apply. And he said, well, how else are you going to get equality if people like me aren't here to do this?
It's just so encouraging, when Sonakshi mentioned that, and she herself is doing so much. I mean, you've taken a lot of that trauma and you've put it back so positively that I'm completely amazed.
I'm aware of the fact that I have a unique vantage point into this, and it makes it that much more important for me to do what I do. I got my master's in gender violence and conflict. That's my area of specialty. And I grappled with it for quite a while. Because I blocked out so much of it, I didn't want to deal with this aspect of it. If my mother spoke about it openly, and she does, she goes on TV shows, she goes, she writes about it.
Right.
She and I run a trust that provides this free legal aid to women and child victims of domestic violence. We only do counseling, we do legal counseling across the board, but we do the cases for free for women below a certain income capacity. And I found that my mother said something really important growing up, which was that if my story can change someone else's life, I will tell it 1,000 times over. And that's why I do what I do.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that was the first thing that both of you mentioned when I spoke to you about this show, that, the whole idea is to bring it out of closed doors. अगर वो बंद दरवाजों के बीच में के पीछे घरेलू के चक्कर में वही बातें रह जाएंगी, तो सोशल सपोर्ट कहाँ से मिलेगा, किसी को मदद मांगने के लिए कहाँ से स्ट्रेंथ मिलेगी, और एक डिटरेंट भी होता है. जितनी हम बातें करें, जितना हम अवेयरनेस स्प्रेड करें, इसको पब्लिक स्फीयर में लाएं, कुछ तो डिटरेंट होगा. जो अब्यूजर है उसको कुछ डर तो बैठेगा कहीं से.
एक्चुअली क्या होता है कि टू अ ह्यूज एक्सटेंट आपकी अपनी फैमिली विदाउट रियलाइजिंग इट इसको सपोर्ट करती है
कि बेटा एडजस्ट कर लो,
या में तो ये होता ही है. और हमारे साथ भी ऐसा हुआ है. Like that was something my mom's mother-in-law said to her.
My mother-in-law said that to me.
हमारे साथ भी तो हुआ है, तो therefore.
So there you go. I mean, these are two men who are repeating behaviors they have seen. And that's a huge part of what we're going to be talking about, of course. It's
You know, what also happens is from the abuser's end
right.
कि कोई बात नहीं बेटा, अब निभाना तो है ही, अब तो शादी कर ली है. This is another one, you know, that where they say कि वो तो थोड़ा गुस्सा है, कोई बात नहीं, वो तो कंट्रोल.
To trivialize it, to normalize it, to make you feel कि मतलब कोई उसमें extraordinary चीज नहीं हो रही है, सबके साथ
हाँ.
होता है,
And बच्चा कर लो,
सब ठीक हो जाएगा.
सब ठीक हो जाएगा. This is another one कि हाँ बच्चा कर लो, बच्चा होते ही सब ठीक हो जाएगा. That's yeah.
Both of you are really creating an impact already. We've got a lot of people who are watching this show and who are reacting to the, you know, your stories, your, I would say more than anything else, your strength. And we've got Namrata saying that's so true. Sometimes be positive is the worst advice you can give. You just talked about that, Meghna. We've got a lot of people who say, Sonali says, forgetting yourself as an individual happens in marriage. That is, again, you know, like what you were talking about, that you get so normalized, you get so sucked into what is happening around you. You don't even know what a person is going through from the outside. I've known Meghna for many years. And like you said, I've always known you as a talent ka bomb. I mean, involved in so many things, so multi-talented. I had no clue about the traumas that you've gone through, whether it's your own health traumas, whether it's the trauma twice over of being in a marriage of such severe conflict and abuse and violence. So for sure, I mean, I think it's the worst thing that we can do is judge from the outside and question कि ये छोड़ क्यों नहीं देती है, कि or the other way around कि adjust क्यों नहीं कर लेती है. Those are the two
Actually,
things.
funnily enough, अगर आप educated हो, the question that you get is, you're so educated. What made you stay? We don't get it.
Correct.
How can you be so defeatist? How can you be so weak? No, that person is not weak.
Is not
And
weak.
it's nobody else's place to judge. I found that, like, when you counsel people who come into you and are talking about this, it is nobody's place to judge. When
Right.
someone says, I'm staying for the sake of my children, I've heard lots of people say, Acha, it's an excuse. You don't get to decide that it's an excuse.
It's an excuse.
It's for someone, you don't know what the linchpin is that is going to cause them to move out of it. For my mother, it was the fact that my brother didn't speak and he was
That's
diagnosed
right,
like this. The school caught it very early on. We're very grateful to the school for having done that. But, you know, these are things that for every person is different and you don't know at which point you're going to, my mother says it's like break out or break through, like you don't know at
you
what,
don't know. Yeah.
either you're breaking inside or you're breaking through, right? So at what point does someone make that choice? It's extremely hard and it's not for someone sitting on the outside to be able to
judge.
say that
कि ये हाँ
Yeah.
कि आप क्यों नहीं कर सकते हो,
Yeah.
be strong and all of those things.
yeah.
So you know, in fact, in your mom's case, she withstood all of that for around 10 years.
years
And it was,
almost.
like you said, it was the mother in her which finally took over and said, okay, I can't do this to my children. Whatever's been done to me has been done to me. Why is it so easy for us to lose ourselves? And you know,
So for a lot of women, it tends to be the economics of it. So many women are not completely self-sufficient in our country. We have to think about that a little bit. Or they don't have independence over their own finances. The easiest way to control them is that household finances are kept with somebody else, right? You control where they move, how they move, what they do, how much money you will give them for fuel, how much money you will give them to travel on the metro. That's why this whole free metro thing is becoming such an, you know, something people are talking about, because you can't control movement with something like that. So I think a lot of women tend to think, will I be able to give my children the sort of life that they get in this particular case, because there's a full setup in place.
the infrastructure is
Yes,
there.
would that be something that I would be able to provide on my own? And a lot of women don't go out with support. A lot of them don't have even family support. My mother didn't, you know. A lot of them just, you're told that, you know, adjust kar lo. So when you do decide to make that change, you need to have a full support system in place, or you need to be entirely self-sufficient
to be able to break that.
Exactly.
Break out.
And I think that's the bit that for a lot of women tends to be for the sake of the children. I went to one of the most expensive schools in Delhi. And my mother found a way to keep us there throughout the time, that, you know, till I was in class 12, till my brother finished school, because she thought we needed that. Now, however she did it, I'm sure it was incredibly hard for her when we were growing up. And I honestly don't know how she managed, but she did. But when push comes to shove, you will be able to manage. I think a lot of people don't recognize that, because it's so hard to jutao that strength, like you would say, right? To find it in you to do it.
Like, you know, just to add to what Sonakshi was just saying, you know, you could be educated. It's not even so much about the economics of things, you know, because in my case, I was working throughout. It wasn't like I
Right,
wasn't
right.
working. But
You had your financial independence, but that was not the.
but it wasn't really
deciding factor for you.
financial independence, you see, because what happens is that when you get married, everything kind of becomes ikatha kar lo,
Same
ye
problem
kar
that
lo,
my
wo
mother
kar
had.
lo.
Your
as
money,
well,
my
just-
money.
Yeah,
Huh.
And more than that, and honestly, like she said, if it had not been for the fact that I had a flat that time in Delhi, which even though it was lying vacant and it had no electricity for 4 years, but it was there. My mother didn't know that I had walked out of the house for 2 months after I had.
Okay. Because you had a place to go to.
Because I had shelter, I had a roof over my head, and that is what gave me the strength to get out of there. And the second time around, I remember actually calling up a friend and saying, I need help.
Yeah.
And I remember her coming in the morning and picking me up and saying, let's get. That's
Just
it.
get out.
Just get out. So I picked up my pup.
I know, yeah.
So, yeah, so I picked up both my girls and I
Got out of there. Which, again, I mean, you had, I would say, the privilege of support.
But
There
not
are
a lot of people
not
do.
a lot of people do have it. Just to give you a sense of the extent of this problem, ये सिर्फ मेघना या सोनाक्षी के घर की कहानी नहीं है. We have a few slides and we'll be showing you some small snippets of data just to set the context. आपको बस ये दिखाने के लिए कि किस extent तक domestic violence फैला हुआ है और इतना मतलब कितने लोग हैं जो suffer कर रहे हैं. 50 to 70% of women in India have faced some sort of violence. We will explain that later. There are various sorts of domestic violence. A lot of other things also comprise domestic violence. केवल हाथ उठाना उसमें एक चीज नहीं होती है. We will talk about that. In the next slide, only about 2% of people who are suffering reach out to any kind of institutional support. मेघना ने बताया कि उन्होंने अपने फ्रेंड को फ़ोन किया. कई लोग तो वो कर ही नहीं पाते हैं, तो पुलिस या किसी इंस्टीट्यूशनल स्ट्रक्चर में जाकर सपोर्ट मांगने की बात तो बहुत ही दूर की है.
What happens is, in fact, the first time I had reached out to the police.
Right.
And they sent me back.
Oh, they sent you back.
saying
हाँ,
कि घर का
yeah.
मामला है, घर जाके सुलझा लो.
Which is why which brings us to the third slide कि ultimately क्या होता है. It's an even more frightening statistic that 75% of Indian women who've reported domestic violence have attempted suicide. Because जब उनको वापस भेज दिया जाता है, उनको कोई support नहीं मिलता है कहीं से भी, तो वो करें क्या? We'll move to the next slide, which explains a little bit of why women keep quiet. Very simply, these are the most common reasons, because they remain silent because of shame, concern for the husband, misplaced concern for the husband, I would say, and family's
Family
honor.
honor.
This whole thing about, again, घर की बात घर में रखो, किसी को बाहर पता नहीं चलना चाहिए. We have one more slide which we'll go on to. Now, this is where you talked about, being sent back from the police. For a lot of women, 58% of women who reported violence, members of their immediate family were aware of the violence. जिन महिलाओं ने रिपोर्ट दर्ज करी थी, उनके फैमिलीज को हिंसा के बारे में पता था, लेकिन उनमें से आधे से ज़्यादा ने कुछ भी नहीं किया. ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं किया जिससे उनकी सिचुएशन को इम्प्रूव किया जा सके, उनकी सेफ्टी का ध्यान रखा जा सके. Now, I can't even imagine the agony that, you would be in if you've reached out for help and you've been sent back. Sonakshi, family support का तो हमने सुना ही है. हम बात कर रहे थे कि how a lot of women stay in the marriage for the sake of the children. From your personal experience, from the perspective of your professional experience, from the people you meet, is that a valid reason बच्चों की वजह से एक हिंसात्मक atmosphere में बने रहना?
See, like I said, valid or not valid is not for anybody else to
Sure.
be able to decide.
Absolutely.
So at that point, I'm not sure exactly where I'd go
Fair
with
enough,
that,
fair enough,
with that
right.
judgment. But I think it's important to know that there is a possibility that you will survive, and if not just survive, you will thrive through this, right? My mother's raised 2 children that are doing far better for having left the marriage than had we stayed. I don't know, I was reading a study just the other day about, and we spoke about this earlier, but the fact that young boys that tend to witness violence against their mothers. Hate the perpetrator, right? They will hate their fathers for committing the violence, but they will not change the cycle of behavior. 70% of them will go on to do something exactly like that.
तो उन्होंने जो देखा है उसकी वजह से वो पिता से शायद हेट्रेड रखते हो,
But not
लेकिन
the
ये नहीं
act.
समझते हैं कि वो वायलेंस से हेट्रेड रखनी चाहिए, जो एक्ट है उसको, बिहेवियर को स्टॉप करना है.
And the next thing is also the more frightening statistic, which is that 58% of women, young girls who will witness the same kind of violence, will probably go and marry someone who is violent because you've grown up seeing it. You don't. I think we internalize it to the degree that we don't see it as being a problem. This is not. ये तो हो जाता है.
हो
ये
जाता
तो
है. होता ही है.
होता ही है हमारी यहाँ पे तो थोड़ा बहुत. हाँ. And
so we've discussed that in a little bit of detail on the Let's Talk with Parul Facebook group as well, where we raised a simple question that is an abusive husband a good father? And again, here we're judging, and the word good, like you said, is a relative term. But Meghna, you brought up the question or really the concept of repeated patterns of behavior, of imbibing a certain pattern of behavior. Let's just go into that in a bit.
So, I was very influenced by my father. Everything that I have in terms of my my love for books, music, fine life comes from my father. He's probably one of the most intelligent and one of the most intelligent and people I know. I knew, but what I saw growing up, there was always an underlying layer of fear. There was always
Your
the
mother, you mean your mom being...
So there was always the mental abuse. Always, it might not happen in front of us, and there have been instances where it has happened in front of us. Maybe not to the extent that I went through eventually, but what has happened is, in the process, what I noticed, because a girl child will idolize her father, and the boy child will tend to pick up the traits.
Right.
So what happens is, and this I saw in my life, was that you will subconsciously choose a man who has those traits without even realizing it. So it's only later, because you see 5 of those traits, you might not see the rest.
Right.
At some level, they're all there. But what has happened is, you've chosen this person in spite of everything. Oh, so love for music. So, you don't, it's not something that you're doing consciously.
Yeah.
But it is a subconscious pattern that's become a part of your fabric. And so you've made these choices. So now, to break that pattern, the first thing is to be able to identify what those patterns are is supremely hard. It is, and I'm telling you, even today, Parul, there are times, a few days ago, there was something that happened that really shook me up. It shook me up to a point where, and I have my bad days. I have days when I am so broken and lost, and all I want is for things to stop. And it should not be something to be judged about. You don't know my circumstances. I don't know your circumstances. Nobody knows each other's circumstances. But the fact of the matter is that, and I am so grateful for the kind of friends I have who are constantly telling me that you have the strength within you. You just have the strength within you. And it is, and one of the things that I realized was that pattern, one of the reasons why I left with Alia was that I didn't want Alia to pick up that pattern. I didn't want her to become what I saw myself as.
Unconsciously, subconsciously going towards this, being attracted to the same kind of pattern.
And she picked it up. She said the same thing, that the
boy, exactly. There's a different pattern that the boy picks up, or the behavior that the boy will be inclined towards.
And it's a repeat.
It's a repeat, yeah.
It's about being conscious of the fact that if you are prone to something, right? If you are that much more conscious about it, chances are you will not, and you will not repeat those behaviors. My mother was very conscious with both my brother and I to tell us that there is nothing wrong with the institution of marriage.
I thought that was quite incredible, to bring that out positively.
And constantly, that there's nothing wrong with the institution of marriage, there's nothing wrong with people.
Right.
People do good and bad things. And you need to be completely aware of that no matter what sort of relationship you go into, who you're with, what you do, all of these things, they reflect where you are at some point in your life. And you need to be very aware of that at all points so that you know better and you do better. You can only do better when you know better, right? So I think that was something that she's always sort of emphasized for both of us, which is why I've been very aware in my personal choices of boyfriend after that, which is there are certain behaviors that I will not tolerate.
Yeah.
And I'm extremely aware of that going forward as well. There are certain things that I will not put up with, just as a simple fact, because I've learned this is learned behavior.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I will not repeat those mistakes. I'll make my own ones, but you know, at least those are not things that I'm going to do.
And I think another change which the next generation and all of you are bringing forth is this: you're breaking that stereotype of सब कुछ ठीक है, of showing कि you know everything is hunky dory, हमें दिखाने की जरूरत नहीं है. That is has to come out. वो धीरे धीरे ही होगा.
There's some of that. There is, I mean, there's a certain amount of you're on enough social media that you see the bits of someone's life that they choose to show to you.
Exactly.
That's exactly what हमारे हिंदी audience में से निशा ने यही लिखा है कि everyone wants happy show off life instead of actual suffering life because society is probably demanding.
What do you
that.
think Instagram and Facebook
Correct.
are all about? Eventually,
you're showing
it's
a
only
certain-
So
right.
you know, there are times that I have put up pictures with Alia, which are candid pictures, no makeup. My eyes are all, you know, and I've had people say, "Don't put up pictures like that. You don't look nice." And I'm like, but how does it matter?
How does it
right?
matter? Absolutely.
It's not about showing or putting on layers of makeup to put out there.
Absolutely, हाँ.
Right?
वही बात हो जाती है ना कि ये जो दिखावे का जो एक पूरा हम लोगों ने एनवायरनमेंट बनाया
हाथी
हुआ
के दांत
है,
type.
जब तक वो रहेगा हाथी के दांत टाइप, बिल्कुल जब तक वो रहेगा तो ये जो सीरियस इश्यूज हैं ये तो बंद दरवाजे में ही रह जाएंगे, हमेशा ही वो घरेलू ही रहेगा.
And हम उसे घरेलू हिंसा बुलाते हैं. It's domestic, घरेलू है. What this law has done going forward,
we
I
will
think
go into
very
that now.
importantly, is जो आपके घर में रहता है, it's no longer just private. This is now being brought into the public domain by virtue of a law like this, which is saying कि घर में आप नहीं कर सकते. Just because आप घर में रखते हो, इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि ठीक है. And that's the bit that, you know, going forward is going to start changing the way people look at this.
Meghna, we have a comment from Triti. She says, I completely agree with Meghna. We subconsciously end up marrying a man who is quite similar to our father. We idolize him since childhood, so we end up finding somebody similar. So this is definitely a very, very social trait.
No, I think that's something that happens whether you don't like it or you don't, and that's the thing that I wanted to completely break with Alia, because I don't want her at any point. I see a lot of those things coming out of me. You know, there are times when my mother has turned around and told me, "Oh, I stayed because of the kids," and I turned around and there are so many times that I turn around and I tell her, "No, you did not stay because of the kids. You stayed because you were too scared to take the step." And this is a conversation I can have with my mother, because I know that she did eventually, you know, pick up her own life after my dad was gone. She built her own life herself. She found herself a job. She even today she's doing great. She built a circle, and she did it at 50. So if she can do it then, she could have done it 20 years earlier. When she was so much, you know, more, thriving. Right. But fact of the matter is, जब घरेलू हिंसा होती है और आप उसको छुपाने में लग जाते हो, उसको कवर करने में, तो आपकी इतनी एनर्जी ड्रेन हो जाती है कि आपके अंदर कुछ बचता नहीं है. आप खुद
को फियर भी तो रहता है कि कहीं किसी को पता ना चल जाए. आप कह रहे हो चाइनीज कॉलर, फुल स्लीव्स, आपका अगर सारा ध्यान उसी में रहेगा तो where will you find the strength to go into creative pursuits or any kind of talents or skills enhancement?
And a lot of places, अगर आपके creative skills ही problem है, then तो there are houses like that. Believe me, one of the first reasons why I was abused was because I used to be one of the first people performing and dancing within the salsa circuit in Delhi. And this is something that my first husband knew. But because I used to dance, usko leke it was stigmatized.
Acha.
And I was told, I have had emails coming from in-laws saying that use capital punishment क्योंकि अच्छे घरों की लड़कियां ना नाचती है और ना गाती है. And I was singing opera. And
Right.
so I was training for opera when all of this. So creative pursuits भी अगर आप ढूंढते भी हो तो आप
तो
क्या
वो
करो?
जरूरी नहीं है कि उससे आपको कोई छुटकारा मिले या उससे वो आपका एस्केप रूट बन जाए. Right.
बिल्कुल नहीं. On the
it's
contrary.
it's really subjective. I mean, even as we are discussing it, I'm understanding that it's impossible to judge anyone's circumstances. हम चाहे past की बात करें या present, क्या क्या कह सकते हैं कि किसी के क्या हो रहा है, किस burden, किस baggage से वो लोग deal कर रहे हैं. Shruti has a message. Shruti Sharma says, just wanted to tell you that you're beautiful from inside and outside. You are awesome. I have gone through almost the same step by step. And I know it takes courage to deal with your emotions and feelings and talk about it. So thank you so much, Shruti, for writing in. I think even just to take this step to write in is also, it's also
More than
really
enough.
much, very, very
You know,
creditable.
Parul, that's the thing I wrote yesterday when I shared this post on my Facebook. The thing that I learned, and this is something that I told you that day, if even one person who's watching this gets
Right.
out of a situation like this, that for any of us, whether it's Sonakshi or it's me or it's anyone who's been in this situation, is more than enough. It's if that helps somebody, I will talk about it. No matter how many times you have to relive
many
it.
times?
And it is not easy reliving it, I can tell you now.
Of course. No, I can see it from both of
So-
your voices and your expressions. I know it's not easy, which is why I am absolutely in admiration of anyone who comes here and shares their story with us. We've gone through various different topics. We've talked about a lot of traumatizing events that have happened in people's lives. And each time somebody comes and talks about their story, I am just amazed. So again, I mean, I can't thank you guys enough. I am going to also remind people who are watching that we have support groups on Momspresso, and these are anonymous support groups, or you can put in your name, whatever you'd like to do, but please reach out in case you need any help. In case you have help to offer, that's another great place where you can just get together with like-minded people, discuss, offer, be a support to anyone who is going through traumas like these. Sonakshi, we were talking about the law. You mentioned there is a law. There is. Let's talk about that in a little more detail, and basically to give people the reassurance that there is something to that they can rely on.
Okay, so the law, like you mentioned, covers 5 different kinds of violence. It's a more progressive law than the average one because it's taken into account all of these things.
We also have a slide. We'll play that as well so that everybody can just read. It's a short excerpt from the law. And yes, please go on since you were
So,
explaining.
like you said, marital rape is not in. It's not a criminal offense in India. It doesn't come under your IPC, but this law mentions sexual abuse in it. So
Right.
you can actually have it recorded under this law. Whether or not there's punitive action, I mean, there can't be punitive
Right.
action in this particular case because it's a civil law.
Right.
When you file under it, the only time it turns in towards any kind of criminal proceedings is when the respondent, so the husband in most cases, when that happens, when they violate a protection order, that's the most salient feature of this law, that it has a protection order that will come from your district magistrate, and there's protection officers under the law. The states are obligated to have protection officers, so each state will have their responsibility to assign one or more, depending. I mean, it's supposed to be on a need basis. They're supposed to have enough that the needs of the state are covered. And when you approach them, you can sort of put forward your complaint, and then they're supposed to help you find recourse, whether it's service providers or everything else that you might require, everything from shelter homes to medical to legal, all of that. Organizations like mine, for instance, do legal aid work. We only do the cases for free for women below a certain income capacity, that's 5,000 a month, but we provide legal counseling across the board, so it doesn't matter whether you live in a fancy part of South Delhi or
Right.
you're coming from somewhere in North and West Delhi. It's all the same. And largely we have women coming in from different social strata, and you'd find that women tend to approach this law like that. A lot of them don't want to leave, and that's why it's a law that's set up the way that it is. It's meant to be that you can have a protection order and live in the same house.
तो ये जो law है ये ज़्यादा protective है एंड फॉर स्पेशली फॉर women जो अपने मैरिज से निकलना नहीं चाहते हैं, लेकिन उसी में उनको क्या क्या प्रोटेक्शन मिल सकता है, उनको क्या इंटाइटलमेंट है, ये वो थोड़ा सा डिस्क्राइब
हाँ जी, तो that was the thought process behind the law कि बहुत सारी औरतें निकलना नहीं चाहती हैं, and अगर support system ना हो तो then at least they have recourse to a violence free home in that
कि मतलब
instance.
आपके घर में ही आपकी सेफ्टी को गारंटी तो नहीं, लेकिन
Implementation की बात होती
वो तो
है, but-
अलग बात
but
है,
it
कम
is
से कम
there.
लॉ तो है,
Yeah,
law
there
तो
is
है।
something in place. There is a system in place that you can access, and I think that's the most important bit of this. Is that you are saying that institutionally we have set up a mechanism.
Right.
Not working, how it works, you know, the different levels at which you need to argue with the system. All of that aside, it is in place and it is there. And it is yours to use. I think that is the most important thing that all women should know. It is yours to use.
Right.
And
So we also have a bit of a description of the various aspects of the law. We were saying that it includes physical abuse, it includes sexual, verbal, emotional, and economic abuse. And we are detailing that just a little bit so that people understand and they know what all is covered by this act. Physical violence, slapping, hitting, kicking, beating, sexual violence, forced sexual intercourse, other forms of sexual coercion. Emotional abuse would include insults, constant humiliation, intimidation, threats of harm, threats to take children away. That is also is part of this. And controlling behavior, which is isolation from family, friends, monitoring movements, restricting access to financial resources, employment, education, and healthcare.
And very importantly, something that I think is extremely progressive that's written into the law, it does not only cover marriage. It covers anything that is in the nature of marriage. So your live-in relationships, for instance, are covered under the law. It recognizes the fact that cohabiting can also lead to this sort of thing.
Right.
And I think we're definitely moving a step in the right direction with something like this.
Yeah. I think that's a very important point because we've talked about it on the group as well कि economics, किसी की affluence, अमीरी, गरीबी, gender तक मायने नहीं रखता है, जब violence होना होता है तो किसी भी घर में हो सकता है.
No, it's absolutely true. I have had friends tell me that even in same-sex relationships that there have been instances of violence. I've had friends tell me where the wives have been violent.
Violent, okay.
So
right.
you know it's
तो
not
वही gender
always
की बात है.
ये gender की बात नहीं है, ये affluence की बात नहीं है, ये social strata, economic, none of that matters. Violence is violence, चाहे आप एक तरीके से करिए या दूसरे तरीके से. जहाँ पे आप you know, to draw a line between being angry and violent it's very thin. That it's a very thin line that you're treading, because you can be angry and I can be yelling, but the moment I abuse you,
Right.
if I have used an abusive language with a particular tonality, that becomes abuse. And if it's happening on a repeat basis, then that is not okay.
That is not okay.
You know, like someone had asked on the group, and I found it a little strange, that what constitutes domestic verbal abuse? Well, if you are being abused, if you are being called names, if you are being told that you're not enough, that is abuse. If you are being told that you are not good enough, that is abuse. If you are being told that you cannot live up to somebody's expectations in a certain way and so you are the one responsible for it, that is abuse. If you are being told that you need to change how you dress, how you stay, how you live, so that you will be acceptable for someone else and only then will you be acceptable, that is abuse. Right. You know, it is the moment you start losing your sense of self.
Right, that is abuse. I think it's very important for all of us to recognize that also. Because like you said, it's so normalized in behavior, in families, in houses, in society as a whole, that you think कि ये तो होता है, ये सब बात करते हैं ऐसे, तो क्या अलग है इसमें, क्या abusive क्या है?
हाँ, पर वो नहीं होना चाहिए ना.
I have a question. How do you deal with this? I'd like both of you to answer from your perspectives, from your experience. So Nakshi, let's start with you. Especially the mental part of it, the verbal and mental part of it. I mean, what is it? Is there a way to deal with it?
So I'm not sure I'm the best person to ask, given that, like I said, I blocked out large bits of it.
Right.
I know that for a lot of people, a support system really helps. Like you said, having a setup where you can speak to someone about this, there is someone who, you know, you can trust and share these details with.
Right.
And having that reason to sort of carry on. I know my brother and I were my mother's reason to live. So, you know, those sorts of things I think are really important when confronting any kind of abuse, is to have a system or at least somewhere you can go, some manner of sanctuary, which should ironically be your home, but isn't always for a lot of people. So then to find that alternative, something you can do, something you can, somebody you can speak to, just
Right.
somewhere to be.
Right.
Yeah, any kind of outlet.
I see Shweta has a comment there. She says, I was mentally depressed when I was not allowed to work outside. But now I'm able to work as a freelancer, working from home, financially independent and happy. Started ignoring move comments and being able to move on.
Yeah.
So, like you
So-
said, so find that zone.
Find that zone. Also, you know what happens is a lot of us, even outside, we as a society need to become a lot more empathetic.
Right.
We need to be able to tell another person, it's okay if you're not feeling good today.
Right.
You're not feeling good, कोई बात नहीं.
या आई मीन जरूरी नहीं है कि आप रोज अपने 100% पे हो, बिल्कुल अपनी
It's
बैटरी
okay.
चार्ज हो के आप निकलो उसी
आपको
लेवल
नहीं
पे.
अच्छा लग रहा है, if someone is saying that I am not being able to pick myself up today, it's okay to be able to say कोई बात नहीं, let's try again tomorrow.
और
It's fine.
और आप मुझे बताओ आपको कोई सपोर्ट चाहिए,
How can I
आपको
help
कोई
you?
help चाहिए?
Let's see what we can do.
Check-in, I think,
A
is
check-in, yeah.
important.
Yeah,
Right.
and you know, the other thing about mental abuse, that it's very important for us to stop behaving like going to a counselor or talking about it is the worst thing you can do. It is the best thing you can do.
Please
you
talk.
have to.
Please
Please
talk.
talk. Because
Absolutely.
if you don't talk, and I know this to be true for myself, I did not talk about it for the longest time. It took me 7 years to start talking about it. To first be able to articulate, and I did not tell my mother, Parul. When she came 2 months later, and I was coming out of a shower, she saw the bruises 2 months later, and that's when she realized how bad it was. Even then, I did not talk about it to her till 7 years later. It was that bad. Now the point is, why is it so hard to talk about it? Because आपको सिखा दिया गया है, आपके दिमाग में ये भर दिया गया है कि आप बुरी चीज़ें, इस तरीके की चीज़ें आपके साथ कैसे हो सकती है, और अगर आपके साथ हुई है तो आप बता नहीं सकते हो क्योंकि लोग क्या सोचेंगे. पर कोई ये नहीं सोचता कि लोग आपके बारे में क्यों सोचेंगे, लोग उसके बारे में सोचेंगे जो कि ये काम कर रहे हैं.
Absolutely.
हमारी थिंकिंग को हमें बदलना पड़ेगा, हमारी सोच को हमें बदलना पड़ेगा. द पर्सन हु इज द विक्टिम इज नॉट द पर्सन एट फॉल्ट.
Right.
Yes, if the victim puts up with it for endless years and does not want an out even after being given an out, and I say that after being given an out, then-
After being given all the various recourses that one can be
correct.
given.
अगर मैंने, for example, I know this to be true. I have requested this friend of mine to get out. Her kids have requested her to get out. But she refuses. Now, if you want to put up with it, nobody can force you to get out of it. But the only thing we can do is ensure that it does not get to a point where you will die.
So if you're in a situation which is potentially as violent and as abusive as what you're describing, तो वो तो किसी भी दिन हो सकता है.
No, the only thing you can do is the moment it gets there,
Just step
make
out.
sure that she knows to be able to have her kids are there,
Yeah.
you're there, people are there who are at a phone call, and they are there.
I think that's a very, very important point. Yes, Sonakshi, you want to
it's
add to
like,
that?
For instance, bystander intervention programs, right? They've found a lot of success all over the world. India has one of the most famous examples, which was Bell Bachao,
Bell Bachao,
which was one of
yes.
those campaigns that really spoke about how now there's some debate about whether some of this can exacerbate the problem sometimes, because when someone would ring the bell, then naturally maybe the husband would get very, very angry.
Because
And
we are relating abusive behavior to some kind of a psychopathic behavior, I would say. And so, yes, it could go either way.
It could, but
Right.
it has been found overall that when
There's a
there is an interruption, there is some manner of intervention, and the person knows that somebody out there is looking out for this person. There's somebody that's watching. I think it's been, and this was large parts of my master's dissertation, was precisely this, is how intervention can work and the different ways in which we need to be envisioning it now as
Right.
we move forward. what are the different ways we can start looking at intervention without it being invasive, but at the same time there is some manner of recourse that somebody has, that there is some kind of witness, whether it's something you've heard. You could be 3 floors down, you can hear a couple fighting. आवाज़ें तो चल मतलब जाती हैं वहाँ तक. तो those sorts of things, I think we need to start looking at the different kinds of programming we can have, whether a program like that should then be resuscitated and then, become like a constant thing.
Correct.
All of the engaging men and boys work that happens across the world and has been happening more and more in India, whether we need to start looking at going into schools or into colleges and start talking about these things, because that's where we're going to start looking at change now, is how we can start speaking to people enough about this, that this is not something which, like one of my aunts told my mother, we don't wash our dirty laundry in public. It's ridiculous, because this dirty laundry belongs to all of us.
It belongs to, and the lives are at stake. I think just more importantly, that is the most important point over here. That lives are at stake. You can't possibly, stay within those stereotypes any longer. On that point, there are, of course, various degrees of violence. And again, there's a huge spectrum over there. We're also talking about maybe marital tiffs, regular marital incompatibility. So at what point should a bystander or even someone who's going through it understand abuse or be able to delineate regular tiffs from abuse and violence?
I think it's violation of sanctity, whether it's emotional or physical or whatever. When you violate the sanctity of another person's being, that's the level at which it becomes violence.
Correct.
That space, of course, like you're saying, is hard to navigate when you are having a fight with somebody that you love.
Correct.
But the moment you have reached a point where you can see that break in the other person, no matter how it is, whether it's physical, that's when you know that you have crossed a line. And I think that's really important to start teaching our children. It's really important to start speaking about, because not a lot of people realize this thappar se pyar and all of that rubbish that we see on TV these days. Like,
That's actually,
This is another point.
it's shocking.
yes,
It's shocking.
It's
that we
ridiculous
have
that we have normalized it to the point where we say, oh, but we are holding up a mirror to society. Yes, but you are also exacerbating the same patterns that we have seen over time. And it creates that much more of an environment where something like this could happen.
So in fact, commonly we used to hear domestic violence being equated to dowry demands and things like that. But now we know, and data shows, that violence is triggered by far less serious matters. I mean, I would put dowry in one of those serious contexts, but बहुत ही छोटी सी trivial सी matters पे, जैसे husband को obey ना करना या in-laws को obey ना करना, जवाब देना, मतलब आप अगर कुछ बोलो तो उसको कहा जाता है कि आप जवाब दे रहे हो, खाना ना पकाना टाइम पे या किसी की टेस्ट या प्रेफरेंसेस के हिसाब से,
नमक कम होना खाने में. In my house, I remember कि नमक कम था and the plate was thrown. Then that is violence.
That is violence.
That is
Definitely.
violence. If you break a plate because उसमें नमक कम है, I'm sorry, dude. That doesn't work.
Inquiring about husband's whereabouts, refusing sex. And the sad part is that मेरे ख्याल से एक majority है जो इन सब चीज़ों को violence के नाम से देखती भी नहीं है. ये इतना normalize हो गया, जैसे आप कह रहे हो, फिल्मों में दिखाया जाता है ये सारी चीज़ें कि तो होती रहती हैं. इसमें violence क्या है, इसमें शादी तोड़ने की क्या बात आ गई.
और प्यार तो ऐसे ही होता है.
Yeah, well, whether it's a तेरे नाम happening or it's this Kabir Singh, I think that statement, that is a very irresponsible statement.
Very irresponsible, totally.
That you make, that if you cannot hit another person, I'm sorry, in that case, what I'll do is I'll just put you in a ring with a WWE wrestler and you can live the rest of your life out.
Get slapped around. Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, how are we normalizing the fact कि ये सारे violent acts हैं, ये एक expression of love हैं, या किसी को better बनाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं? That's another thing we hear a lot. We had some comments, in fact, that came in anonymously about people, I mean, going through domestic violence and being told that, oh, no, we're just doing this for your betterment, to make you a better person.
That's gaslighting.
Of course it is.
So this is what I was telling you about. My whole self-image issue came from there. Because my husband was constantly telling people, oh, but I want her to look the best. That's why I keep telling her to dress like this. Right. But no, you should be okay with what I'm wearing. Right. You should be okay with who I am.
We have a comment from Perlin who says, let me get that. I'm still struggling to move out when my parents say adjust. You have kids. You can't manage all alone.
Well, Perlin, sorry, I'm going to butt in here and I'm going to tell you that you can manage alone. You do and you must find a way to walk out. If you need help, we'll be there to help you. Please, if you are not happy, if you do not think that that situation is conducive to your mental and physical health, it is definitely not conducive to your child's mental and physical health. Not today, tomorrow. Please reach out. Do not believe that you are not capable of doing this. You can do it. It can be done. Sonakshi is witness. I'm telling you, it's possible. It is possible.
I think we just need this kind of support, and we know that social support, reaching out works. I have another couple of slides which will just prove that, in fact, just bring that out. So this is a report done by Dasra on domestic violence, and I really like the title. It says, "No private matter." No longer is this a private matter. It should not be treated as such. The impact on society is just so huge. So it says that 60% women reported a decrease in violence and discrimination following a 15-week program with men and boys. Simply that, the minute there is some amount of awareness, and okay, this was a program that was done with men and boys, but as long as there is some awareness, there is going to be an impact, there is going to be a decrease in violence and discrimination. Another slide, which says, a powerful media campaign can result in up to 5 times increase in the number of women reporting abuse and their awareness levels of the law and its entitlement. The minute you know that there is a law on your side and that, yes, you can be taken care of to some extent or the other, it increases the strength of people, or just gives them that kind of encouragement to go out and report. So Sonakshi, now very, very broadly, what is the first thing a woman in trouble should do?
I would say to find somebody who has enough knowledge of this law, if this is the tool that you wish to be using.
Right.
If you want just an immediate relief is to get that protection order in place.
Right.
There's lots of places where you can get free legal aid. You can go in and get just an opinion. If you're in Delhi, you can try my organization and come in and at least seek counseling and
Right.
get an idea of what your legal options are. There's lots of people who want to stay on in the marriage. Like I
Yes.
said, lots of people do not want to leave that marriage. They just want the violence to stop. And in that case, that protection order works in that way.
Okay.
Because the moment then that you violate that and it is reported, then it becomes a criminal act, and that is something that can be taken care of on that level. That being said, like I said, it's about finding the sort of person where you want to get your advice from, whether it's somebody who you know has faced the same thing and come through. It's exercising all of those options and moving to the next step. If you so decide. But for a lot of women, they just need to speak.
Just needs to speak.
They just
Exactly.
need a place where they can go in and say that this has happened to me. And I think that's really important, that we build those kinds of spaces and that people then come in and are able to talk about them. If someone's able to talk about it, it's the first step to then moving towards moving out. But like you said, the first step they need to think about is to see what their options are. And once they have made up their mind, of course, because again, this is not something you can force on someone. This is not something you can tell someone, this is what you should do. I can tell you all I want, that, you should not live in a violent home, but I don't know what your circumstances are. I don't know what sort of troubles you deal with. I don't know anything about that. And I think it's not fair for anyone on the outside to tell you that this is what you should do. The best I can do is tell you these are your options.
Your options.
And then go to someone who is able to provide you those options, to tell you that here are the things that you can do.
Right.
And consider accessing this. Over and above that, it is your choice. This autonomy is still yours. I understand that violence often makes you feel like you don't have a choice.
Right.
And I think the one thing that is taken away from you very often, and first of all, in a case like this, is that you don't think that you have a choice or a voice. And it's about giving that back to someone, to tell them that this is yours to do. It is yours to decide whether you want to leave, whether you want to stay, whether you want to access a shelter home, whether you want to go get legal aid, if you want to go and report medically that something has happened to you. This is for you to decide. And that autonomy is yours. So please remember that autonomy is yours, and it will always be.
Meghna, you want to add to that?
No, actually, she summed it up really well. I think, please, the first thing that you need to do is, if something like this is happening, please reach out. please talk about it to anybody. If you don't want to talk about it, write it in a note and give it to somebody that you trust. Know and have someone there who is going to have your back. And people are going to have your back. It is not a matter of embarrassment. You are not the one to blame. Please remember that, because the victim is not the one to blame. You are not imagining it. Irrespective of what a lot of people say, that, oh, you're imagining it, it's not really that bad. Don't let them gaslight you.
It is that bad.
It is that bad. If you're feeling it, it is that bad. Please reach out. If you, whoever it is that you reach out to, reach out, ask for help, and people will help.
And I think for the community in general, for those who are standing, like you said, the bystander intervention, from that point of view, what would you like to say? What
Step
can
in.
step in?
Step in, put a stop.
Absolutely. So, and I mean, like, what is the easiest way to do that? To just take somebody to the side and ask them if there's anything we can do?
I think ask. I think
Ask.
that's the most important. Like I said, choice has been taken away from people for so long. For so many women, they don't have that choice. I understand that ringing a bell can sometimes be very invasive, and you could, like I said, exacerbate the violence.
Right.
So the next step would then be to say that, okay, go to the person, take them to the side, say that, you know, if you are having a problem, know that you can count on me.
Correct.
That is the step you can take for the people that you know are suffering from, or that you can tell have something that's not quite right in their house. And then, you know, you can start looking at all of the options and be the support system for someone like that. But that is the best thing you can possibly do, is ask and be there. And please understand that you don't, like, the sorts of things that people are going through, even one of your smiles could change somebody's life. So
So reach out, be there, support. I mean, I think it's just an unasked kind of behavior that all of us can put
And I
forth.
think this whole idea that domestic violence can only happen between a couple is not necessarily true. It can happen between the in-laws, it can happen between the parents. See, violence...
Parent and child, you mean?
Yes, it
Yeah.
can. It's a possibility that there are adults in the house, and it has happened. And that is also not okay. Violence of any form within a domestic structure is what domestic violence is about, and it should not be happening. So please, whether it's a parent, whether it's a husband, whether it's a wife, whether it's whoever it is, put a stop. Ask. As a society, we need to ask if they are okay, if they want to talk about it, and what we can do to help, and to let them know that we're there. But more than that, if you're going through it, reach out. Just ask for help.
It's not an isolated problem, and it's not the problem of the person who's going through domestic violence. I think it is something which all of us need to take responsibility for and lend our support also. Thank you so much, Meghna. Thank you, Sonakshi. Thanks for spending your time here and your stories and giving strength to a lot of people who are watching. It really does make a difference. And thank you all for watching.